Gingrich has garnered more attention as voters look for an alternative to Romney, but is he just soup du jour? I'm Alan Barton. Stand by for Front Page. Joining me in studio is Terry Jones, Associate Editor for Investors Business Daily. It's just him today. Yaron Brook joined Occupy Los Angeles. And he's down there in a tent. We hope to get him back, but there's something seriously wrong has happened with Yaron, and he is down in front of City Hall with the Occupy movement. All right, Terry, a new Fox News poll has Gingrich and Romney in basically a statistical dead heat. So what do you think is going on here? I mean, he started off with a disaster. He let, his first thing, I think, on Meet the Press or one of those shows, he pissed off every conservative from right to across the spectrum, and then he lost all of his staff, and then he had a Tiffany's, what was all the jewelry at Tiffany's and all this crazy stuff. Yeah. And now down the road, he's in a statistical heat and a meteoric rise in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. Huge. What's going on?
It's kind of like a battlefield promotion where all the officers get shot around you, and next thing you know, you're a general when you started out as a private. I think in the case of Gingrich, there's no denying the man's intelligent. He's highly verbal. He explains himself well. He's an interesting guy. He's full of ideas. He's very inconsistent, though. But I think people had so discounted him early on that they had such low expectations. They suddenly hear him talk in some of these debates, and he sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and I think the sheer number of debates, I think we're up to about 7,353 with last night's debate. He is a format that is well suited to him, and he kind of stayed back, he didn't push, and then ended up seeming, as he is, a very intelligent, well-spoken guy. I think the risk is that they always say he's undisciplined. What's he going to do? What's he going to say next? Even last night, he's now in trouble for his stand on immigration, which maybe he was throwing out there. But Gingrich recently commented on the Occupy protests, and let's take a look at what he said.
All of the Occupy movement starts with the premise that we all owe them everything. They take over a public park they didn't pay for, to go nearby to use bathrooms they didn't pay for, to beg for food from places they don't want to pay for, to obstruct those who are going to work to pay the taxes to sustain the bathrooms and to sustain the park, so they can self-righteously explain that they are the paragons of virtue to which we owe everything. Now, that is a pretty good symptom of how much the left has collapsed as a moral system in this country, and why you need to reassert something as simple as saying to them, go get a job right after you take a bath.
And stuff like that will get him elected president for a lot of people who are pissed off at OWS. I mean, that is a 30-second dissection. Yeah. Just completely eloquent. That's where he's playing to his strength, right?
That's him. Brilliant and on the spot right there. I mean, that was absolutely dead on, and everybody...
And then slightly irreverent punchline right at the end where people can get really upset by what he's saying, but a lot of people go, like, damn straight. Yeah. They have that impression of him.
Let me say this. It'll be the right people will get angry with him. That's and I don't mean right-wing people. I mean, it's going to be the left who object to something like that.
Yeah. But do you think that in terms of this concept of baggage, like we've seen Bachmann, and then Perry got in and he had this huge, and then he kind of screwed up, and then Bachmann kind of screwed up in the debate, and then Kane, then the accusations were never verified, but then he kind of screwed up on Libya, and he kind of seems like he doesn't. So Gingrich, and meanwhile Romney is just steady, right where he is. He never seems to flub. He's very consistent. Do you think that Newt is going to have a fall, as many of these, sort of the last challenger? I can't imagine another one like, all of a sudden Ron Paul comes up in a statistical dead heat, but.
You never know. Some people thought Ron Paul had the last debate with Ron Paul's debate that he did pretty well. In Newt Gingrich's case, he is a wild card. He is eccentrically brilliant, and he's well-read, and he's well-versed in history, as he will tell you.
Yes.
But he does have a lot of personal baggage, and I think some people find him a little bit off-putting. He's got an arrogant, professorial air to him. That said, I think a lot of people are looking for answers, and every time the camera turns on him on one of these debates, he has an answer.
The most recent fire he's come under, of course, is for his ties to the mortgage giants, Freddie Mac. So let's take a look at what he said about that.
Tell me, first of all, how much money was it?
Well, I'm not sure the exact amount, but the reports are it's about $1.6 million. We're trying to work that out. I just don't have the numbers in the campaign because I'm no longer at Gingrich Group. There's a whole issue about whether or not government-sponsored enterprises have any legitimacy. Well, I can tell you as a historian, they have been used in a variety of ways over all of American history. There are times they've been very, very useful and very valuable.
What do you think about that? That's one of the statements where the conservatives are like, what?
Yeah.
What is it? Well, GSEs are very useful and very valuable. They just completely ruin the economy. They're not given proper credit, I guess is the wrong word for it, for having ruined the economy. But what's he saying there?
Sorry, I completely disagree with him. And actually, their history is relatively recent. I mean, Fannie Mae was created in the 40s.
All of them are at post-40s, post-World War II,
and
right?
Freddie Mac in the 60s. And once they started working with through the Community Redevelopment Act and the Clinton administration to boost home ownership, they did nothing positive for the economy. In fact, they're the cause of our current mess. So I totally disagree with him on that. What's more troubling, I think, especially for people who look at this as an issue of corruption, is the fact that he got $1.5 million.
$1.6 million for advising them. How much does it take to advise? If you're a conservative who's opposed to GSEs, you say, like, I don't think you should exist. I think you're inflating this market. $1.6 million for offering that advice? It just sounds...
I could have given him that advice for half the amount.
I could have done that for about a cool $500,000. I'd spend 5 minutes telling him, and we'd be all right.
They'd get an earful.
All right, finally, switching gears, 2 Democratic pollsters recently made the case for Hillary Clinton to replace Obama as the Democratic nominee. This is Pat Cadell, who wrote a very intriguing essay that Obama has almost lost the consent of the governed. He really is taking him to task for his incompetence in office and thinks he has zero chance, that he should recognize that, and like Johnson, step aside. And that Hillary would reinvigorate the Democratic Party and present a really formidable candidate there. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think she would be a formidable candidate, quite frankly. For one thing...
she seems like a sort of a stalwart center zone, and she's been out there carrying heavy water as Secretary of State.
She has been, and she's not my idea of a Secretary of State, but that said, I mean, she has given herself a lot of serious bona fides with that, and she would certainly do very well with women. She would do well with some minority groups.
I don't see Obama as being able to let go of that, though. I mean, it's weird. You get the sense that he does not enjoying himself. And there's all this sort of gossip that his wife is not enjoying herself. And that they really don't enjoy the lifestyle and the pressure of it. But I can't sense from his sense of entitlement and arrogance that he would give that up.
I can't either. And I also think he feels that he personally has a destiny, that extends, far beyond mere mortals. To be president for 8 years and radically reorient America in a direction it doesn't want to go. So I don't think he would ever give it up, and I think he's going to go down swinging.
All right, thanks, Terry. I'm Alan Barton. You've been watching Front Page. Yaron will be back with us once we get him out of these camp. It's really crazy. We'll try to find him. He's down there somewhere.